Hello, cats and kittens. Oliver Jose Yoroshku, back in the crisis corner, in the movie corner, here to have a discussion on the superhero genre summer movies of 2025. To do so, I got my man TJ in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good, good, good. Good to see you, nephew. All
Awesome.
right. Now, beyond whether or not we enjoyed these movies, there's a larger issue. The superhero genre, as many know, is everyone wants to say that it's on its last leg and it's gonna for somehow disappear and they'll never make superhero movies again. That's not gonna happen. Genre survived, but the heyday is clearly over. The question is, could Superman and Fantastic Four First Steps reignite whatever people believe was the heyday of the superhero movie genre? Or if they failed, would they become what I would call not a Franken film, a zombie franchise? Now, by zombie franchise, I do not mean like Dawn of the Dead or whatever. I mean a franchise that, due to activity, appears to be alive but is in fact dead. I'll give you examples. Um, Say Star Wars is if it's not there already, it's pretty much there. You got Jurassic Park, Terminator, Star Trek. These franchises have suffered from pretty much the three strike rule. Once you put out three duds, indifference sets in and nobody wants anything to do with you. Were these films any good? We're going to start off with, we're starting off with Superman. First of all, I would ask you, TJ, did you enjoy Superman?
I did. I can honestly say from start to finish, I definitely enjoyed it. One of the things I enjoyed about it was just that it started right in the middle.
Okay.
It didn't start in the beginning. It started right in the middle. It just told you this is where we are. This is our universe, and like whether you like it or not, this is it.
Yeah. And when you're dealing with a franchise like Superman that's had what? Yeah, Superman, the Donner, was it two of the Donner movies? Or was it one that he did? Donner did one.
He did one, was about to do two because he did it simultaneously, but then the what was
Who
it? The producer
finished it?
fired him.
Who
Um,
finished two? Mhm.
Dang, I forgot his name. Um,
We can lump them kind of together. Then when
hmm,
you started getting into that three or four type situation,
it got
which
very
was
slapstick.
yes, it started. Yeah, that's where the problem started. And
Yeah.
you can, as a franchise, I would kind of throw Supergirl in there because it
Oh.
was like right after three, Supergirl, four, Quest for
Mm,
Peace, and then that was it. For 10 years, you couldn't do nothing with the franchise until Returns, which
right.
is which is what we're. And oddly enough, after Gunn's Superman was coming up next, Supergirl. All right, well, yeah. History gonna repeat itself? I don't know. But
Right.
going back to Superman, what did you think of the plot, the performances? What was your general impression, just overall of the movie?
I definitely thought that David Corenswet, he did his best to be the embodiment of Superman. And at the same moment, I remember him even saying like it felt more like he wanted to make it feel like it was just, a guy in a costume, that he wasn't necessarily larger than life. Because one of the things that they wanted to do in this film was give you that human aspect in Superman that
Mm-hmm.
hadn't seen since Superman Returns, or since pretty much the Donner style, the Donner-esque Superman movies. Because I mean, as much as I like Man of Steel, they were kind of going into that direction, but then they went a completely different direction in Dawn of Justice. So
That's true. That's true, and that's I liked. Gun Superman, kind of because it was like the opposite side of the coin from what Snyder was trying to do. And don't
Mm.
get me wrong, I thought Man of Steel. I mean, I thought it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good movie. People dug it and say it was too dark or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna have their put it like this: when you brought up the fact that it started in, it started kind of like in the middle, or just it just launched into the story without giving you the, he came from Krypton, blah blah blah, whatever.
Right. Right.
And some people would say, no, I wanted that Krypton origin thing. Um, Everybody, if a character is that old, is going to have fans of a specific period.
Right.
So it comes down to, is this your Superman or not? And
Yeah.
if it's not, can you look at it just objectively and say, well, okay, that's different, and I can just accept it or not.
Mm.
I'm flexible enough where I seen it a bunch. I seen it animated. I seen it this. I seen it that. It's not a big deal to me how Gunn came at it. I
Mm.
don't really, unless he made him. I mean, he would have to do something really left field for me to say, "Oh, this ain't Superman."
Right.
Okay, this is not necessarily the Superman that I'm used to or that I came up with,
Mm.
but I recognize it as Superman. So it didn't
100%.
it didn't bother my enjoyment of the movie at all, just because it wasn't my perfect ideal version of Superman. I thought he was earnest. He had that Boy Scout type mentality and that outlook. He took a lot of L's. I didn't really dig that. I thought that was kind of off. My
Yeah.
Superman, he can take an L. That's not a problem.
Right.
He was getting thrashed. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
like, but I thought I thought they captured the spirit of the character, and I liked Corn Sweat's performance. I think he did uh, a good job. He did a very good job. I
yeah.
didn't see enough of Clark though.
I agree. In fact, what was it? It was a lot like Matt Reeves' The Batman, where there was no duality between Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah,
And they definitely did the same in this one. But you could also say that they did this almost similar to Spider-Man Homecoming, but not in that sense where you never saw Peter Parker, but it's just you saw more Spider-Man than you usually did in the
yeah,
previous Spider-Man film.
mm,
But I do agree. Like there was literally one scene of like Clark Kent in his
yeah,
glasses. I mean, every other time, I can't even say the Smallville scenes because I mean that's usually the place where he's at home and he feels like himself. So
right, right.
um, I do agree that it would have been nice to see him as Clark Kent because it's not like he gave a bad Clark Kent. It's just
No,
you
no,
just
it's
saw
just
more of it.
no,
That was
agree,
just it.
agree. And to me, the duality
Hmm.
between Clark and Superman is maybe more important than the duality between like Bruce and Batman, because you don't really need to see Bruce Wayne but so much.
100.
I mean, it's everybody knows it's kind of
Hmm.
like a gag, It's just something that he does to throw people off the scent. But Clark,
Right.
I mean, Superman enjoys being Clark Kent. That's like, I don't know,
Hmm.
stress relief or something. But it's a place that he likes to go to. So that duality, I would have liked to see.
Hmm.
I think Brosnahan killed it as Lois.
Yeah.
She was on point. I had no
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, I had no issues with her, Lois Lane. Nicholas Holt was interesting.
Mm.
Who was it? What's her man that did Lex and
Eisenberg, Jesse
Snyder?
Eisenberg.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it to an extent, but it just was kind of, I think Holt was a better version of Lex, and he committed one of the most heinous acts that I ever seen a Lex Luthor commit in film. When he like off that dude, like right in front of
Mm.
Superman, just to torture him,
Yeah,
basically. That was cold. I mean, that was
right.
straight. That was like
Yeah,
Joker level type. It's psychological torture.
I agree.
Yeah, that was.
And the thing is, yeah, and it was crazy because apparently Gunn was gonna add like a joke right after that, but I'm like, nah, like you need
Nah,
to keep
let
that
that go. Yeah,
serious like momentum because it's just nah. It would have released all the tension. I'm like, nah, you need that
let that
because
cook. Let that
yeah,
cook.
I mean, Hulk killed it.
Yeah, he did
And
a
then if
great
you're
job.
comparing it, yeah, because it's like if you compare it to Eisenberg, I
Yeah,
would say it's what I hoped Eisenberg would do because of the fact that like you already saw his performance in Social Network and you just thought he was just going to be more of it, if anything. But
okay.
they went the fully aloof route instead of the
Yeah,
full. I mean, yeah, they did calculate. He was calculated in that film, but
okay.
it got to a point where it was kind of ridiculous how calculated.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Uh,
um
yeah,
and
I'll go with that.
it was pretty solid because it seemed like someone who was really trying to outsmart him in every way possible, and you could see him trying. Like so.
Mm. What do you think about the Justice Gang, their
I
inclusion?
thought they were pretty good. I like Nathan Fillion. I'm glad it was good to see him as a live action Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did enjoy that. Who else? Mr. Terrific.
I
I
think
thought the
it's
actor that played
I
him.
forget the guy's name. Let me see. His name is that's my man that
Mm-hmm.
they played what you call him? He's
What was
an
it, Darwin?
X-Men. He played
Yeah, he played
Darwin and I
Darwin.
can't, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Hawk Girl, I mean, didn't really matter. I mean, not I'm not trying to crap on the actress, but she didn't
Mm.
really mean anything in the in the overall scheme of things. But Fillion did a great job. Mr. Terrific, I thought was good.
Yeah.
Uh, I the Justice Gang concept, I think it kind of. I see why he put him in there. I just think he kind of stole a little bit of Superman's thunder. But
Mm.
that wasn't a huge issue for me. It
Right.
didn't. They didn't. They in no way detracted my enjoyment of the film, and they were
Mhm.
necessary to the plot.
Right. It
That
was
was
just good to set up the universe, if
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. So I was fine with it. When I look at, I'm just going through my notes, the things that they got right. I thought Superman was uh, Supermanish. He was bright. He was, earnest.
Mm.
The Boy Scout type situation. I think again, Lois was on point. I thought the FX were tight. I thought the
Mm.
plot was a little. They keep going back to real estate for some reason.
Yeah, and that was my
Yeah,
big complaint with that movie.
yeah,
As soon as you found out what Lex's plan was, I was like, okay, so it's
yeah. So,
the third Superman movie we going to see where he's trying to get some real estate. Like,
yeah. I don't
uh,
know if Gunn was just like lazy
yeah,
but
it's
you that's one of those situations where you got to turn off your head and just say, "All right, well, fine."
and that's one of the
Uh,
reasons why I appreciated Zack Snyder's Man of Steel because he actually made an effort to stray away from the Donner esque Superman
yeah.
and something fresh. And that was one of the reasons why I did appreciate it.
Okay.
Despite the mixed criticisms of that movie.
Okay. The things that I think they got wrong or that I didn't really care for. Uh, Let me see. Wanted more Clark. Lex's plot, like we just said, was kind of ridiculous, and even kind of the way he went about it was a little
Mm.
weird. Um,
Yeah.
Superman, like I said, he took some L's that I didn't think he should have took. And
Well, about the L's though, like I will say, I mean, at least they do start off saying that this was the first time he ever lost. So,
yeah, that's
so you
true. I
didn't
was
really
yeah,
Superman that. So you didn't get that champion Superman. So that right there already put him down to our level. Like, all right, he's not
yeah.
who he. So.
It's my thing is, the movie's called Superman, so I got to see somebody. I mean, I don't mind you bringing him down a little bit, but I would just raise the stakes higher, but don't bring him down because I got to see him do. He he has to do super stuff and he has to be larger than life
Mhm.
to and just bring the stakes up higher. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He has to have Superman moments, and he did.
Mhm.
Towards the end of the movie, he had some moments where that's like, oh, that's some Superman level type stuff.
Right, right.
Fine, you know. But I like there was a little, I like to see a little bit better balance between the Superman level stuff and him taking the pills. But whatever. But that's a short list, actually.
Mhm.
Outside of that, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Now the question is, was this a strike three? Was it good enough to keep to get momentum into the franchise to have a two or three if you want to do that, or the character survive into multiple films? Do you think
Oh,
that they avoided did they avoid the third strike?
yeah. I think they did. Because you can tell that the goal was James Gunn's goal. His mission was just to give you to bring back the hopeful Superman. Um, and I mean, in a world full of, I mean, nowadays we've seen the Omni Mans, we've seen the Homelanders. I mean, we've seen the Zack Snyder,
Yeah,
Henry Cavill, man. We're kind of done with it. It's like,
right, right.
where's the hopeful one? I mean, I got through a can at him right from behind. He could have
Yeah.
easily taken
Oh
him
yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
vaporized him, but
I'd like to make a movie about what would possess a man to throw a can at Superman. Yeah, that'd be a movie. That's like
right,
maybe he had some kind of disease and he wanted to get it over with. I
right.
don't know. But yeah, that was. I agree. I agree with your point.
Mhm.
We've done the grim dark to death.
Yeah,
You gotta. At some point, the needle has to go to the opposite direction. At some point.
right.
So, and I'm with you. I think the box office has been solid.
Mhm.
It, the $1 billion movie is dead. It's done. It's not. I mean, it's going to happen occasionally, but
Right.
back in the day, in pre-COVID, where it was like four, five, $6 billion movies climbing up the charts like every other year or something, that's done. That's over. So
Yeah.
don't you can't really hold the modern movie to that standard. So it's making money.
Right.
So there's a there's a demand, you might
Mhm.
say. So I think in that sense, yeah, they've avoided the third strike. So this is not going to turn into a zombie franchise at this point, unless something comes out after it that is just horrendous to the
Mhm.
point that everybody backs off. So
Yeah.
all right, Superman's in the clear.
And
Let's
then
go to.
even
Oh, go
um
ahead.
like Gunn also stresses just the importance of getting a good script. He's like he's not putting anything out until
For
like I
sure.
get a good script. Which I do appreciate because he knows that it's not necessarily superhero fatigue. It's just it's bad
Right.
writing, lazy writing fatigue.
Right.
That's the issue. It's just you're just putting things out, but not necessarily putting the heart and soul into it. So
So apparently he couldn't get that done in Marvel. They took
I
over. I mean, because
yeah, I mean,
his Guardian scripts
mhm.
came in good. They didn't look like chopped up movies that Marvel is making now. You
Oh
know,
no, they that's all he
overly post
did.
production, overly rehashed or edited.
hmm
The Guardian stuff looked pretty together.
And I mean,
Uh,
they did him dirty on top of that after that
yeah,
whole
man.
tweet
And
situation.
that's one thing that I forgot to mention. He kind of like shouted out the cancel culture. You know what I mean? Kind of. No, he didn't. Kind of. He shouted out the cancel culture. He kind of gave cancel culture the middle finger. Because he was. You could
Yeah,
tell he was upset. He's in his feelings.
and I don't blame him. That's
It is what it is. Hopefully he'll get the last laugh.
mhm.
All right, let's go. Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four first steps. I forgot to get into the plot of Superman, but the plot for Fantastic Four first steps. Sue and Reed are having a baby. The baby turns out to be the the core of the movie because Galactus is coming to Earth and he wants the baby to use for his own purposes. And the ultimatum is give me the baby or I'll destroy your planet. And from there, the ethical dilemma kicks in the planet or the baby, choose.
Yeah,
Um, which is a great ethical dilemma. I mean,
it's wild.
props on the plot.
Yeah.
Uh, I think the plot's better than the movie, although again, I like the movie.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was look, Fan Stick was so horrendous. If a blank screen would have been better than Fan Stick. You know what I mean? Anything by comparison was going to be better than Fan Stick, but this was better than pretty much everything in the franchise. I think. I think this is the best Fantastic Four movie outright.
I agree.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean it was, and I'm going down my list of starting with the plot. We just talked about is a great plot for them because
Right.
one of the things I like about the Fantastic Four IP, the concept,
Hmm.
it's not about power.
No.
It's never been about how strong are they. It's not the Avengers. This is
Hmm.
about putting people in predicaments. First of all, having them discover things and then putting them in predicaments where they have to think their way out or just figure a way out of it for themselves or for the world or whatever. It's kind of like the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek. You
Hmm.
know, Star Wars is pew pew pew. You know, get whatever. Star Trek is like we going to discover stuff and what happens after that.
You're right.
So
You
I'm
may encounter some villains or something, but you
right.
know.
Then you get your villain of the week type situation. Fine.
Mhm.
So the plot I thought was great. The performances. Pedro was my problem.
Mhm.
He he was the reason I didn't think this movie had a chance. And having seen the film, that was not a problem. I think Pedro wasn't the. First of all, I mean, I liked the movie, so that first. But
Mhm.
Pedro didn't drag the movie down. I would not say that he elevated it to another level, but he definitely didn't drag it down,
Mhm.
and that's good enough for me. I'm fine with that. The rest of the performances, I would say Kirby did good. Uh, Quinn did all right. Uh, Moss Bacharach, I think, did good, but they could have gave him more to work with. And it sounds like I'm dumping on the performances, but I'm not.
Mhm.
I just, I think I'm trying to find not a delicate way to say this. I don't think they gave the actors enough to really shine.
Either
Um,
that or they cut a lot. And
well, how about that?
they cut a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
'Cause I
that
think,
Frankenfilm thing. Yeah,
yeah, because one of my things about this film was that it did feel like they rushed a lot in the beginning.
yeah,
Like there were certain things I didn't think they needed to rush with because you could have used, especially if you're using one of those characters as a plot armor or a plot device
yeah,
later on in the story. So, like for instance, Mole Man, they kind of glossed
yeah.
over
Well,
that. And like, mind you, I remember even seeing like a ad for like the Mole Man monster. So I'm thinking, oh, okay,
yeah,
gonna be in the movie, like the intro to them and stuff. That would have been nice,
yeah, yeah.
but they glossed over that in the movie. And then even John Malkovich's Red
There
Ghost,
you go.
like glossed right over that. So and then so I'd say it was a lot that they cut, and it showed in certain
Yeah,
scenes. It was just nothing. There wasn't a lot of payoff. The only payoff was really with everyone but Ben Grimm. Um,
yeah.
I would say that, but
I think that goes back to the whole Marvel. They're too reactionary.
mm,
Um, One of the big leaks that came out was like this was going to be a Sue-centric movie. She's going to dominate the movie and she's going to save everybody. It's going to be about her and the Silver Surfer. Didn't
right,
turn out to be so. I mean,
no,
she had a role. I mean, she did good for herself, but
yeah,
a lot of that was cut. You
Yeah.
know, they said they had different endings where she was like the girl boss or whatever, and they cut it out because
Mhm.
the test screenings came back and it's like, oh no, they're gonna think it's woke. Let's hurry up and change whatever. You can't make movies like that.
I
You
agree.
know, if you do, then you're gonna wind up with the Franken films, and you're gonna get what you get.
Mhm.
Again, I like this movie.
Yeah.
Despite all of the cuts and the edits and stuff, but
Mhm.
it, as to your point, it showed in the awkwardness of some of the uh, performances, I guess,
Mhm.
and the payoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Silver Surfer was a non-factor to me. No knock on Jennifer Gardner, not Jennifer, Julia Gardner, but
Mhm. Yeah. And
whatever,
she's a
man.
great actor.
Yeah.
So
Oh, no question. Ozark, she was killing it.
exactly. Like even
So
Weapons, she was really good in that.
yeah, I didn't see that, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy thriller, but
Okay.
yeah, like she was good in that.
Galactus. Uh, I was cool with Galactus. Visually, he was awesome.
Hmm.
Visually, he was awesome. Now, again, like I talked about Superman, everybody has their own version. Everybody has the Galactus or the Superman that they grew up with or that they like.
Hmm.
I say right now, and you'll thank me later, go read Fantastic Four, Volume 1, issues 242 to 244, and issue 262. That is Galactus.
Yeah.
Okay? That is Galactus from my standpoint, especially when you get to the trial of Reed Richards.
Okay.
That's peak Galactus.
Mm.
Galactus, first of all, he don't get soloed by nobody. You know what I mean? And not to say Sue soloed him, but put like this: in a fight, the Fantastic Four would not last more than a couple of minutes with him,
Hmm.
which is another issue, almost a separate issue, and this is running longer than I thought it would. But Marvel's lack of attention to detail with their power scaling always comes back to bite them.
I agree.
Um, Galactus is not a threat that they can put down.
Hmm.
They and going back to that Fantastic Four volume 242 to 244, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and Doctor Strange jumped him,
Mm.
and they barely beat him. Why? Because he was on his last leg. He was terribly hungry.
Right.
He was on down to his last amounts of power. They jumped him and they finally took him down.
Mm.
At full strength, he would have killed them all. He's
Mm.
not somebody that you can deal with just straight up. They took a different approach, and it just goes to, I can say it just goes to show they don't get it in terms of power scaling. And the MCU power scaling is very bad. I mean, you don't know if Spider Man can beat Captain America. You don't know.
Mm.
They're just people with powers, and it doesn't make a difference. But
Yeah.
like I say, Sue can't do nothing with Galactus
Yeah.
at all. So
Yeah.
I didn't. That took me out of the like a little bit. There was no
Right.
power of love, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
motherhood and all that. And I get you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, without a
Yeah, I
doubt,
mean that's fine.
like the
That's
strength of picking up
admirable.
a car to save your child type thing. So it's
Hey,
like,
look, sometimes love, it ain't enough. And with Galactus, love don't mean
for
nothing.
Galactus.
That's what I'm saying. And a bit where he was playing with Reed like a rubber band,
Oh
that kind
man.
of thing is beneath him.
Yeah.
He they don't. Yeah, well, whatever. Again, I like this movie. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm not knocking it to say that it's trash. I'm just
Hmm.
saying from the standpoint of an old school Marvel fan, those are the things that came up. In terms of, I guess I already been through my what they got wrong list. Another thing was the music.
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of that Fantastic Four thing. That irritates me.
I like the campiness of it because I mean that's kind of how it was in the '90s cartoon and
Yeah,
everything like that.
I ain't dig that.
And then even the theme itself gave like Star Trek kind of vibes. And mind you, this is the same guy that did The Incredibles and even like the Spider-Man Home trilogy. What was his name? Michael Giacchino. Um,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I mean, he's done a lot of Disney projects and Marvel projects, but mostly the Spider-Man Home. But
That's a personal pet peeve, I guess.
yeah.
Um, and the '60s aesthetic, that wasn't. I didn't really. That wasn't for me. I see what
Mm,
they were going for.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say that's pretty much it.
Mm,
Everything else, like I said, I like the fact that they made it a sci-fi movie
mhm,
because the 2000 the Tim Story stuff, they kind of paid lip service to sci-fi. Not even so much that they were doing accurate sci-fi, just that they put them in a setting that was larger than life. That was like
mhm,
space and stuff like that, and traveling places and wormholes and stuff like that.
right.
That's where they belong,
Mhm,
you know. So I respected that, and they just put them on a large enough stage
mhm,
to separate them from the rest of the MCU. And the final verdict, I would say, well, another thing that I found out is that their box office isn't that bad.
mhm,
It's actually they're about to cross 500 million, which I
mhm.
was shocked because the early box office reports was that it was just the second weekend was horrible and it was kept
Like a
getting worse.
drastic drop in
Yeah,
percentage.
yeah. The currently domestic and uh, international is both at about 250 million.
Mhm,
So they've eclipsed anything that came out in the franchise before that. But if you adjust for inflation, who knows how that looks. My problem is in terms of a final verdict. First of all, I like the movie, but is this going to be a third strike? I think it quite possibly could be because all of this is attached to the current MCU, and the current MCU is a problem.
mhm,
Avengers Doomsday is a train wreck that cannot be avoided at this point. It, if it's good, I'll be shocked. All that Secret Wars and all that stuff that they're planning.
mhm,
I wouldn't do it. That's all I'm saying. This is a franchise to me that would benefit from a cool down. If it kind of like after going back to Superman, after Quest for Peace or whatever that was, and that little 8-10 year cool down.
right.
Just let it rest. Let people forget Tim's story. Let them forget Fan Four Stick for a good stretch, you know, and kind of like recontextualize it or whatever. But
Mhm.
second, when was Fan Four Stick was what 15? What
Uh,
year was that?
I believe it was.
Or was it later than that? 18?
I think it was 15, 2015.
Wow, that's 10 years. Yeah, that
Mm,
sucks, man. Anyway, so they
yeah.
had their cool down, I guess. Yeah, whatever. But I think, and it's not so much that the follow up is bad compared to Fan Four Stick, because in my mind, this is better than all of the other iterations. But it's just that it wasn't. I don't think it was received as well as it should have been,
Mm,
and I think some of that is because with Marvel, the present movie doesn't matter. The
right.
present movie is always a setup for the next one.
Hmm.
So people are not really digging in and saying, "Oh, this is real tight." They're just saying, "Oh, what's going to happen after this?"
Right.
And you get the early reports and saying, Dr. Noon's going to be here and all of this stuff is going on, and people are like, it's just
Mm,
the same Marvel, schlop, you know. So I hate to say it, but I think this is gonna. I don't know if the franchise is going to prosper. maybe it might not be a zombie franchise, but I just kind of I'm scared that it might be because I love the Fantastic Four. That's my favorite IP, maybe
Mhm.
outside of Spider Man, maybe.
Mhm.
Uh, and I've been waiting for a Fantastic Four movie this good for a long time.
Mhm.
So we have a positive and a negative. I think Superman's going to be fine.
Mhm.
You know, the IP is pretty big. It's hard to kill. But then again, they said Star Wars was unkillable, and they took care of that.
Very
But Superman's going to be fine, and I'm really worried about Fantastic Four. It might become a zombie franchise. It might.
good.
But we'll see. But that's let us know what you think. Do you think that these franchises will slide into the ranks of the Terminators and the Jurassic Parks and so forth, or do you think that there's hope for a better future? Let us
Mhm.
know in the comments section. I'll be back with. I'll get back to this MCU dilemma that's going on at this point, but we get back to that later. So that's it from the Crisis Corner. Let me know what you think, and until next time, stay loose.